This is the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial and diamond expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping the show on April the 4th, 2014. Our time is 8:45 in the morning, Mountain. Our radio show runs on your favorite radio stations. Also, the shows are archived and streaming at HESradio.com and rarecoloreddiamonds.com. We have a podcast. It's through iTunes. Type in World Financial Report on Radio. You'll find the podcast. You can subscribe to it. We can go anywhere on your portable device. The show is portable and can be heard at any time at your convenience. Harold does daily market commentary. That commentary is found on his websites, also on the podcast site. As we start today's show, a little later in the show, we'll be talking about diamonds. And this week's featured diamond, in my opinion, is one of the most impressive diamonds I think I have ever seen when it comes to color. It's a fancy, vivid orange yellow. The color on this diamond, and you can see it at rarecoloreddiamonds.com, featured diamond of the week. We'll talk about it later in the show. One of the most stunning diamonds I have ever seen. We'll talk about it later. The main piece that we have on 60 Minutes on Sunday, it was revealed something that we've known and reported on for quite some time. Is the U.S. stock market rigged? Steve Croft reports on a new book from Michael Lewis that reveals how some high-speed traders work the stock market to their advantage. This month marks the 5th anniversary of the current bull market on Wall Street, making it one of the longest and strongest in history. Yet U.S. stock ownership is at a record low, and less than half of Americans trust banks and financial services. And in the last 2 weeks, the New York Attorney General and the CFTC in Washington have both launched investigations into high-frequency computerized stock trading that now controls more than half the market. The probes were announced just ahead of a much-anticipated book on the subject by best-selling author Michael Lewis called Flash Boys. In it, Lewis argues that the stock market is now rigged to benefit a group of insiders that have made tens of billions of dollars exploiting computerized trading. The story is told through an unlikely cast of characters who figure out what's going on and have devised a plan to correct it. It could have a huge impact on Wall Street, and when he was interviewed, Michael Lewis talks about it for the first time with Steve Croft. We have this interview. We can send it to you. If you would like to see the interview on 60 Minutes, we'll be happy to send it to you. Steve Croft said to Michael Lewis, "What's the headline here?" Michael Lewis, the stock market is rigged. The United States stock market, the most iconic market in global capitalism, is rigged. And Harold, you go down the line, they're investigating the LIBOR scandal. Of course, the LIBOR being rigged. The Forex markets they're looking at that, and the high-frequency traders are getting out of the stocks and getting into Forex now. And they're also even taking a look at how the gold price is set. It's a very confusing time for investors, and it does not surprise us at all that we've said this for years. The stock market is rigged. That's why we advocate hard assets. When you're holding gold and silver in your hands, you're holding a diamond in your hand, you've got something that is tangible, not a rigged stock market. Just a stunning, stunning story last Sunday on CBS 60 Minutes.
It really is, Randy. And again, it just adds to the skullduggery that's happening. You've got high-frequency traders, and by the way, it was a Canadian that figured it out, a brilliant trader, and he's actually started his own exchange. That's a success story in itself. But when you look at the U.S. markets at this particular point, you're talking about the stock market and the high-frequency traders, and that's really an advantage that they have that really is so unfair, and again just takes the credibility away from the market. Basically what it is that if you were going to place an order on IBM, and let's say you're looking at the board and it says that there's a certain amount of shares available at $100 and you place the order, at the market, basically they're getting to the order before you are just by a millisecond, and they're buying that position and selling it back to you at a higher price. It's totally illegal, but it's what's going on in the market, and now it's become common knowledge. And again, we'll see what effect it has on the market, but the market's been up every single day this week. So again, what credibility there is there in the financial markets at this particular point when they've disclosed this skullduggery of high-frequency trading, which is so illegal, but the market continues to go up? You look at the whole U.S. economy at this particular point, with the middle class in big trouble and everything happening, and the stock market still goes up every day. It makes absolutely no sense. That's why it doesn't make sense to have your money in that market. It's so manipulated and so rigged at this particular point that you just don't know when that market is going to plummet. In fact, there's reports in the newsletter this week that you've got to get that are talking that in the next month they're expecting a potential huge drop in the Dow Jones. But you've got the stock market that's rigged. You've got the bond market, the LIBOR, the metals markets, the mortgage market, the derivatives markets, the banks. What credibility is there in these markets anymore? And what would warrant us putting our money into those markets when we know that the small guy has no shot in those markets whatsoever? So again, it's huge news. Do we believe that the government is going to do anything about it? Probably not. They don't do anything to reprimand anybody in the stock market anymore. And with all the thievery that's gone on over the last several years, it's just unconscionable to believe that this is happening. But again, as we've always said, desperate times bring on desperate measures, and there seems to be a much bigger picture that the small investor just isn't involved in, because again, it's always the small guy that gets hurt in these situations. You know, we had a great month in February where the month of gold where the price of gold basically went from $1,180 all the way up to $1,400. Then we got into the month of March, and then the market did the exact opposite. We saw it go from 1,400 all the way down to around the 1,280 level, where very heavy support is. We're now back up to 1,300 today. We're at up $13.30 on the market, so there is very heavy support in gold at that 1,280 level. But again, what would make a market go up from 1,180 to 1,400, and then the very next month drop off all the way back to the 1,280 level? It makes absolutely no sense, because there was nothing in the marketplace that warranted gold selling off that much. So again, we know that there's manipulation going on in the marketplace, and again, it's unconscionable to believe that it's happening here in the United States, again, where these markets are supposed to be freely traded markets. So again, at this particular point, we're hoping that the 1,280 level holds very strong in gold, and we continue to build a very strong base. We're still very bullish on gold for the right reasons. Again, we have to see inflation moving forward. It's quite possible that we have deflation at this particular point, which is keeping the market prices down, but deflationary markets should push the stock market down also, and that just isn't happening at this time. So again, we got the gold market back over the $1,300 level, hopefully building a very strong base at around $1,280. You got the silver market up 31 cents today. We're back over the $20 level. We did hit a high at $20.33, but again, we need to see this market get higher. 2850 is a very important number for silver. 2850 would confirm much higher prices coming in silver. Very bullish on platinum at this particular point. Platinum's been up almost every day this week. It's up $9 as we're taping the show on Friday, and we're up to $14.50 in the platinum market. The palladium market also has been fairly strong. It's just below the 800 level. We did hit $795 this morning. As we're taping the show at this particular point, the job numbers came out, but nobody really believes the job numbers. Again, at this particular point, we do believe that the jobs that are being created are not good jobs. They're not high-paying jobs. In most cases, they're low-paying part-time jobs. So basically, we don't put a lot of credence in that. However, we have to see what happens going forward. The Dow Jones, as we're speaking, is up about 50 points, trading at 16,631. The U.S. dollar just went negative. It's trading just slightly above the 80-cent level. Again, we need to see the market get to 78.50, and that would bring the market back up in gold to around the 1,500 level, 1,550 or maybe even 1,600 at that particular point. Obviously, the big number for the U.S. dollar is 72.5 cents, which is the number that we saw back in 2011. Oil's been extremely volatile, but oil's back above the $100 level. In fact, it's up $1.04 today. It's trading at 101.33. And again, we're very, very bullish on the crude oil market. It's very difficult at this point here to predict what these markets are doing because, again, there seems to be no rhyme or reason. There's no reason that gold should have backed off as much as it did last month. We know that March is a negative month for gold, but it shouldn't have dropped back as much as it did. But again, we could see this market come back and build a very strong base at this point. There's just so much problems around the world at this time that any one of those situations could set the market off. That's why you don't want to trade in and out of this market. You don't want to look at the bullish and bearish factors and trade gold and silver because, number one, 90% of the people that trade in and out of the market lose their money, so those odds are greatly against you. And again, by holding the physical metal, you're in it for the long term anyways. We're not in this for the short term. We do believe that when all is said and done, that we're going to see substantially higher prices in gold and silver than we saw back in 2011 when gold hit $19.20 and silver hit $50. I do still believe that we will see gold in the several $1,000 range, and we will see silver trade somewhere between $100 to $200. And the reason for that will be weakness in the currency markets. There is a direct correlation between gold and the U.S. dollar. And again, even though other countries like Japan and Canada are reducing the value of their currency, the fact is that the U.S. dollar is still a very weak currency based on the fact that the Federal Reserve is printing as much money as they are. And again, it's simple mathematics that when you print as much money and you produce as much of a commodity as they are producing at this point, and the demand for that commodity is not high, the prices are always going to fall, and that's what's going to happen and continue to happen with the U.S. dollar. They're printing so many dollars at this particular point that it should be weakening the dollar tremendously. The only thing that's keeping it up is that it's stronger than certain currencies, which are mostly the Canadian and the Japanese yen. If you look at the euro, it's still trading right now at 138, and if you look at the British pound, that's the strongest currency of all at this point. And again, there's still troubles in Europe. So, again, the currency markets are the markets that you really need to watch at this point, which is going to give us a clear indication as to which way these markets are going to go. There's no reason for the U.S. dollar to increase because, again, there's nothing positive happening in the United States economically at this point. And, again, the reason that people are scratching their heads is because, number one, the amount of participation in the U.S. stock market with the general public is at one of the lowest levels ever in history. So it tells you that the general public does have very little confidence in the U.S. economy at this point, in the presidency, and the country's economic state going forward. And there's a lot of other problems out there. You've certainly got problems with Russia and Ukraine. You still have major problems in Venezuela, where basically the inflation rate is going through the roof. I've got friends in Venezuela that are paying over $100 for a loaf of bread and over $300 for a pound of chopped meat. Imagine living like that, and people are saying, the people that are very intelligent are saying that the same scenario can hit here in the United States and in North America and in other areas around the world because of the weakness of their currencies. Then you've also got other situations going on at this point. You've got North Korea and South Korea that started fighting this week, and you've also got Israel that is not getting along in the Middle East, and all these situations could end up moving the price of metals and other markets substantially higher. So again, if you're a holder of physical gold and silver, if you're a holder of hard assets like diamonds, like stamps and art and those type of assets that you hold in your hand that are not controlled in the paper markets, again, those are the assets that you should feel most safe with. Again, have the markets reacted the way that we've wanted over the last couple of years? Obviously not. We believe we should be sitting well above 2,000 to 2,500 in gold at this particular point, and we should be sitting somewhere in the range of $70, $80 in silver, and we're nowhere near those prices. And the reason for that is that they don't want those markets to hit those levels at this particular point. But there's going to be other problems moving forward that will take the focus away from these markets. And I believe it's going to be the derivatives market and the stock markets that are going to fall so substantially that it's going to take the onus away from the gold and silver markets, and they're going to have to try to concentrate on getting those markets back on track. Those markets are so heavily leveraged, and the derivatives markets are not regulated, so you've got quadrillions of dollars in a market that's unregulated that nobody really knows that much about. That's the market that we believe is going to bring down the overall world economies, and that's the most frightening thing, is that those markets are not regulated by any real regulatory authority in the United States. But then again, the regulatory authorities in the United States are basically a joke. The Commodity Futures Trading Commission, which is the federal government that's supposed to look over the commodity markets, just doesn't do its job. There's no way in the world that these commodity analysts and experts are going to sit back and say that the trading that's gone on in the gold and silver markets are normal. There's no way in the world in 2011, when gold hit $1,920 and plummeted after that, that was a natural reaction to a bull market. And there was nothing in the market that warranted gold selling off that much or silver selling off that much, except for the fact that there wasn't enough gold and silver in the warehouses to back up the futures contracts and the ETF contracts. That goes to show you how the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, the Commodity Trading Commission, Futures Trading Commission, the National Futures Association, and all these companies that are supposed to be policing these futures industries and these stock industry is not doing their job. And this high-frequency trading is so illegal. But again, what is going to happen as a result of it? The report that I saw that was on 60 Minutes, they almost laughed at it and said that it wasn't illegal. I don't see how manipulating a market that is in the trillions of dollars a day is funny when you manipulate it, because so many people's lives depend on what happens in those markets. So again, this is what's happening at this particular point. Things are all over the place. The markets don't make an awful lot of sense. How does the stock market go up every single day when you've got this type of situation going on and everybody's talking about it? It makes absolutely no sense, except that that's the way the government wants the market to be at this particular point. That's why you need to be in the type of assets that are not affected by those type of trading. Because again, we could easily wake up one day and find out that the Dow is down 1,000 points in one day. In fact, I do believe it's going to happen, and it's going to happen sooner than later. So be smart about this. When you see that these markets are being traded like this and manipulated like this, a siren should go off in your head telling you this is not the right place to be. Again, in my opinion, with as volatile as the world is today, you need to own the type of assets that will respond to these type of situations. Are they responding to them now? No, they're not, because again, it appears that the government and the Federal Reserve happens to have a different agenda than the rest of us. But eventually these markets are going to kick in. The trend is always your friend, and there is no doubt in my mind, and people that are extremely brilliant in this business, that the metals markets and the hard asset market is a place to have your money as a safe asset moving forward. And again, that's still where I have my money. I have nothing in the stock market, and I have everything sitting in physical gold and silver, diamonds, and some cash, and that's basically where we have our money at this particular time.
Michael Lewis said it on 60 Minutes. The stock market is rigged in the United States. If you would like to learn more, speak with Worldwide Precious Metals. They can educate you on high-frequency trading, what it means to you and your portfolio, how obviously you can take advantage of what's happening in the market today by owning hard assets like gold and silver. Worldwide Precious Metals of Vancouver, a leading Canadian precious metals bullion dealer recommended by Herald for over 10 years. They're the experts to trust and work with in this very specialized market. If you'd like to get our free weekly newsletter and see the interview, the 60 Minutes interview, speak with Worldwide, you can connect with them. WWPMC.com is their website, an outstanding website, WWPMC.com. Their telephone number, 1-866-623-2002, 1-866-623-2002. And don't forget, ask them about starting your own precious metals investment account today. All gold is allocated either wholesale or premium. They're there to help you maximize profit, minimize the risk. You will have instant liquidity in and out of the market with just a phone call. 24/7 online access. The metal can be stored on your behalf, insured to the full value of your investment. Ask about domestic or foreign storage and premium storage in specific coin and bar form. Stored metal is outside the banking system. The metal can also be delivered to your door. Worldwide, they have the access to the physical precious metals you want today, and you can connect with them. 1-866-623-2002. The website is wwpmc.com. Get our free weekly newsletter from Worldwide, and definitely watch that interview. They'll be happy to send it to you. Steve Croft interviewing Michael Lewis about his new book, Flash Boys, where Michael Lewis says the U.S. stock market is rigged. On the silver side of things this week, some very good news. Ted Butler via Ed Steer, Casey Research. Ted Butler saying, this is the highest total of silver eagles sold in any regular month in the 27-year history of the American Eagle Bullion Program. There have always been 3 Januaries where more silver eagles were there have always been 3 Januaries where more silver eagles were sold than there were sold in March, but those Januaries always borrowed sales from December as the mint retooled the coins with the new yearly date. The 5.3 million coins sold this past month indicate a daily production rate or blank availability never achieved before by the mint of more than 170,000 coins per day. So silver eagles are very, very red hot right now. In fact, last year, silver eagles were selling at a very historic rate of 50-1 compared to gold eagles. And in fact, that was an increase of roughly 80% compared to gold eagles. Read more about that in our free weekly newsletter, which you can get from Worldwide Precious Metals. One of the other articles that is a must-read this week is from Ben Davies. He was interviewed by King World News. He made a legendary call about silver going to $50, as Harold has done in the past. Harold made that call, so did Ben Davies. And he was asked about silver right now. I know the fair price of silver is around $31, and right now we're probably going to be trading anywhere between 15 and 20. And he says potentially we're at a critical juncture here around 1950 to 20. I believe that, we're going to go down into this area, and I want to see rejection of that selling, as he calls it. I would be prepared to average cost in, basically dollar cost average. I believe the silver price will then migrate back by the end of the year to the $30 to $31 level. So he's projecting $30 to $31 silver by the end of the year. Their silver will rebalance, and I believe in 2015, silver will make an assault on the highs that we saw at $50. Read more about what was said by Ben Davies, the man who made the legendary call for $50 silver. Connect with Worldwide Precious Metals. Start your own precious metals investment account today. Get our free weekly newsletter. Speak with them, 1-866-623-2002, the website, wwpmc.com. Going to come back and talk about the most spectacular diamond that we have ever featured as the featured diamond of the week from rarecoloreddiamonds.com as the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall, continues right after this. Welcome back to the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial and diamond expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping our show on April the 4th, 2014. Our time is 9:10 Mountain. Radio show runs on your favorite radio stations. Also, the shows are archived on Harold's websites, HESradio.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. We have a podcast. You can get at it through iTunes. Type in World Financial Report on Radio. You can see us there, and obviously at that point you can subscribe to the podcast if you want. If you have a portable device, put iTunes on it, our radio show goes anywhere you do. And Harold does daily market commentary, which is very important to hear every day. There's a lot of people who follow Harold on a daily basis, not just through our radio show on a weekly basis, but his daily market commentary. You can find it on the website. You can also find it on the podcast site. Connect with Worldwide Precious Metals. They are the only company Harold recommends you use when it comes to investing in gold and silver, platinum, palladium. The big story of the week, obviously, on 60 Minutes. Steve Croft interviewed Michael Lewis about his new book, Flash Boys, and Michael Lewis came out and said, due to high-frequency trading, the U.S. stock markets are rigged to take advantage of the average everyday person. Learn more and speak with Worldwide. Let them educate you as to why you should have hard assets in your portfolio as a result of hearing the news that the stock markets are rigged. Speak with Worldwide, www.pmc.com, 1-866-623-2002. Harold's website for diamonds, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. The telephone number, 1-800-432-1022, to speak personally and privately with Harold. His auction site, hsfineauctions.com. The next auction is to be announced. We had an auction a few weeks ago, which was another smashing success. But we get to the part of the show that I've sort of been waiting for. I was sent a featured diamond of the week. And when I saw the color of this diamond, I was literally floored. This featured diamond is one of the most spectacular we have seen from rarecoloreddiamonds.com. It's like a museum piece. Harold's website is like going to an online museum. The diamond is a .43 princess cut, fancy, vivid orange yellow. And when I saw the color on this, out of all the diamonds we have offered, I think this is definitely in the top 5. Could be number 1. Obviously, that is subjective. But Harold, my goodness, this is just a stunning color on this diamond, and whoever would own it, if you walked in a room with that on a ring or jewelry, you would be the center of attention.
No doubt about it, Randy. You've got a good eye, my friend. To get an orange diamond alone is extremely, extremely rare. Orange is a combination of red and yellow, but to get a vivid orange is nearly impossible, and this diamond is a vivid orange yellow, so there's no ish in it. It's not orangey yellow or yellowish orange. It's a vivid orange yellow, both primaries, and I got to tell you, it's got a much stronger saturation of orange than it does yellow in the diamond. Also being a princess cut, one of my favorite cuts of all, and one of the rarest of all cuts. So that makes this diamond ridiculously rare. And for any collector out there, I'm positive very few people have ever seen a diamond that comes close to the beauty of this particular diamond, a fancy, vivid, orange yellow in a princess cut. It's an SI1 clarity, so it's very eye clean. You're right, Randy. It's one of the most beautiful diamonds you'll ever see. And very, very proud to be able to put it up. You know, the fact is that diamonds come in so many different colors, and when you get these amazing colors like this vivid orange yellow, or at the last auction we had a couple other vivid oranges up there, orange yellows that were magnificent. We also had that green blue princess emerald cut that was up at the auction that sold beautifully. So again, we're coming out with just some amazing diamonds. We are going to have another auction just before Mother's Day. Hopefully we'll be announcing it next week, and we're going to have some amazing diamonds up there for auction. So, you know, with everything happening around the world today, with all the uncertainty in the currency markets and in the stock markets, and, you know, with all the manipulated trading and everything going on, the diamond market is so different than any other market that you could get involved in, because number one, it doesn't trade on exchanges like gold or silver or stocks or bonds or commodities, you know, where you have buyers and sellers that affect the price. What really affects the price of diamonds is primarily supply and demand, because the demand for these diamonds are extremely high, especially with what's happening in the currency markets, and the supplies are probably at about the lowest that they've ever been. So there's very few diamonds that ever come out like this featured diamond. I mean, the chances of ever getting a diamond like that is extremely slim, and for those that do end up owning diamonds like this, I mean, it just enhances their collection tremendously. I'm with you on this one, Randy. It's one of my favorite diamonds also. And the reason that we put it up, people say, you know, if these are such phenomenal investments, why do you sell off your diamonds? Well, number one, I have my own collection. And number two, we are in the business of helping people in the diamond business. That's what we do for a living. We not only offer some of the best investment diamonds that you could ever own, but we also own the vehicle that we sell them for you, which we're the only company that has. So, again, it's a great time to be in the diamond market because it's a physical asset that you own outright. You can enjoy it. You can put it into a beautiful piece of jewelry and let your wife wear that, then give it back to us in 10 years and let us sell it for the family for you. And these diamonds only go up in value. Again, there's so few of them, and in most cases, most people have never seen a diamond like the featured diamond. A fancy, vivid, orange-yellow diamond is ridiculously rare, and again, we're very, very pleased to be able to show it this week, and some lucky person will end up owning that diamond next week. Now, there's a lot happening in the diamond market. Again, diamonds are not affected by the same thing that stocks and commodities are. However, when the markets tend to get bad, people tend to go to assets like rare diamonds because they hold their value. You know, when the markets get extremely volatile, it isn't always about making money, it's about preservation of capital. And by having your money in the stock market or in other markets, you know, you're susceptible to gains and you're susceptible to losses. But in the diamond market, that doesn't happen. When you buy a rare diamond that is extremely rare, that there's very, very few of, the fact is that the prices go up no matter what the economy is doing. However, back in 1980, it is important to know that when we had extremely high inflation, certain diamonds went up 500% in 1980 and did as well as gold and silver did. So, again, you're talking about an asset that will respond to inflation, will respond to currency devaluation and other situations around the world, but then again, there's so few of them, and they don't trade on exchanges, so you don't get those price swings that you get in other markets. So we're very pleased with what's happening in the diamond market. You know, a lot of my clients are hard-working families that are just sick and tired of getting 1 or 2% return in the bank, afraid to go back into the stock market because what has happened countless times, and just want an asset that is long-term, that they don't have to worry about, that they could sleep at night, that they can just put away and look to sell at a higher price down the road, and that's what the rare color diamond market will do for you. There's many different colors, but the colors that we recommend for, again, people that are not going to spend multi-millions of dollars on a diamond, if you want to get involved in the diamond market, you can get involved for as little as $15,000 to $20,000. I know that excludes an awful lot of people, but for those of you that want to earn 15 to 20% a year or more, there are certain diamonds that will do that for you. And one of them is a yellow flawless diamond. Fancy yellow, fancy intense, or the very best color, fancy vivid, go up by anywhere from 15 to 30 to 40% a year, depending on the cut and the color. And these diamonds will never decline in value because there's hardly any of them available. So the fact is, if you were to put $20,000 into a yellow flawless diamond, put it into a ring for your wife to wear, or put it in your safety deposit box, in 10 years that diamond's going to be worth somewhere in the range of $75,000. So you put $20,000 into your retirement savings plan, and the chances are you're going to see very little return on that investment. But you put $20,000 into a rare colored diamond and put it away for 10 years, you're going to find the returns to be very solid. And then you've got the opportunities in a one-of-a-kind market, which is the pink diamond market. Now, the fact is that the Argyle mine in Western Australia produces 95% of the pink diamonds in the world, and we now know, because we talk about it every week, that the mine is going to close in 6 years. Basically, the mine is already deteriorating, and we're starting to see that brown is starting to seep in the mine. So you're going to start to get these brownish pink diamonds, which are not as desirable as the fancy pinks or the fancy intense pinks or the fancy vivid pinks or the purplish pinks. The brown is not a beautiful color, and when it seeps in and it changes the color of the pink diamond, it reduces the value of it. So basically, we know that the mine is getting ready to come to a close, and it's only 6 years away. If you were to put $50,000 into the pink diamond market, that diamond in 10 years from now could be worth $400,000 or $500,000. You may think that that's a ridiculously high estimation of a return, but the fact is that when the mine closes, 95% of the pink diamonds in the world will be gone. What it also does, it makes other diamonds very valuable. For example, the other 5% of the diamonds that come from India, South America, and South Africa will also become very valuable because, again, those will be the remaining 5% or will be the 100% of diamonds, and the number will be tremendously small. The other situation is that Argyle Mine, which was the largest producing diamond mine in the world, producing 30 million carats of diamonds a year, 95% of all the diamonds that come out of the Argyle Mine are not considered investment quality diamonds. So you're talking that all the white diamonds that come out of the mine are industrial white diamonds that are used to cut other diamonds. So they're not investment quality at all. Then you've got the other 5%, which is made of pink diamonds, brown diamonds, the odd blue diamond, and the odd other color that comes out of the Argyle mine, like the grays and the grayish blues, and some diamonds that we had at auction the other day, which were these amazing orange-yellow Argyle inscribed diamonds. So very few of the diamonds that actually come out of the Argyle mine are actually investment quality. In fact, very, very few are. That's why these diamonds go up so much in value. There's a big diamond show going on in Basel, Switzerland at this point, and the diamonds that are in the biggest demand at this time are the vivid yellow, flawless diamonds, especially diamonds over 3 carats, 2 and 3 carats. Then you're talking blues and pinks. In fact, blues are so rare right now that hardly any exist anywhere, and the prices are just going through the roof. These blue diamonds are skyrocketing in price. Now you've got the same scenario going on with pink diamonds. In fact, you're finding now that the price of pink diamonds are going to take on a life of their own, just like blue diamonds have, and they're going to skyrocket in price. And the thing is that this will more than likely be our last opportunity to ever invest in a diamond like a pink diamond that will almost become extinct, because there will be very few pink diamonds after that Argyle mine closes. So, again, the opportunity to invest in Argyle pink diamonds today, when they will not be around 6 years from now, is a tremendous opportunity that we will never ever get another opportunity to revisit, because there's no other mine in existence that produces 95% of any given diamond. Now again, you're talking about assets that go, starting at 15 to 20,000 and go up into the multi-millions, and let's face it, it's not for everybody. Not everybody has that money put aside for an investment. But if you do, or if you have money sitting in stocks that are not working for you, this is one of the best investments that you could ever make. And again, we've never been more proud of our business, because our Rare Color Diamond site is one of the greatest sites for viewing very rare colored diamonds. Then on top of that, we also have 8 Seagull Fine Auctions, which is the only company of its kind. It's the secondary market that resells our diamonds, and that's been a tremendously successful business, one that we continue to expand. And then you've got our radio shows on CHED and on HESradio.com. So we try to bring you the information that you need to make an intelligent business decision, because times are so difficult right now with all this that's going on geopolitically, with what happened this week with the high-frequency trading in stocks, with all the other markets under fire. It's a breath of fresh air to be able to put your money into something as valuable as a diamond that is not manipulated like these other markets are. So, again, Randy, I'm extremely pleased with what's happening in the diamond market and what we're bringing forward. We've got some of the most beautiful diamonds, and we do have another auction coming up. We'll announce it on next week's show.
Get our free weekly newsletter from Harold. Speak with him personally and privately at rarecoloreddiamonds.com or 1-800-432-1022. In our newsletter, we have the 2 interviews with Harold and Bloomberg. one with Carol Masser, the other with Deirdre Bolton. And we would love for you to watch those interviews. Harold brought with him Liz Taylor diamonds on both occasions, and take a look at the faces of the women who interviewed Harold from Bloomberg when they had those jewelry put around their neck. It's simply worth watching the interview alone. Also, we have a follow-up to last week. We have a short video, and we have a story on the $55 million watch made by Lawrence Graff, 110 carats of rare colored diamonds put into a watch worth $55 million. We have a different updated picture of it in the newsletter. It is a must-see, simply stunning to say the least. But the most important thing we can stress this week, the featured diamond. So often with the featured diamond, Harold will come into work on a Monday morning and he'll have messages and people waiting to speak to him about the featured diamond. The featured diamonds go very, very quickly. And this week we have maybe one of the greatest featured diamonds we've ever had. It's definitely in the top 5. I remember a blue diamond we had that was just stunning. This is, to me, ranking up there 1A and 1B, 1 and 1A, because it's absolutely stunning. A 0.43 carat, and this is a princess cut, fancy, vivid orange yellow. You will never see a color of a diamond like this in your life again. It is absolutely stunning, amazing. Any positive thing you could say about it, you would. So, if you're interested in seeing it, go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com right now. Take a look at the featured diamond. You'll see it in, obviously, our newsletter, a picture of it. You'll see the video online. And then come Monday morning, Harold, obviously, you get into work early in the morning. People should call you first thing in the morning if they're interested in investing in this diamond. It will go very, very quickly.
Oh, there's no doubt. We'll walk in. Well, we got our leads over the weekend, so basically we know the inquiries, but there's no doubt we'll easily get 10 or 15 inquiries into that particular diamond. It's that special. So, again, I'm glad you love it, Randy. I certainly do. That's why we put it up, and we try to bring the most amazing pieces to our clients because, again, that's what we do, and we have the capabilities of doing it. So, again, somebody will end up with this magnificent diamond, and that's a diamond 10, 15 years from now that will sell for 10, 15 times what the price of that diamond is today. It's that rare.
And the thing to keep in mind, when you make an investment in a diamond like this, I know Harold has said that, a lot of people maybe in 10, 15, 20 years may look at selling, but that's the type of diamond that could be passed down from generation to generation and be held in a family for hundreds of years. And that's something to consider as well. You see that from time to time where there's family jewelry that is passed down from one generation to another. Over time, it continues to accumulate wealth. In some cases, it's never sold because it is so coveted because it has such a family history. And this is a diamond where you literally yourself could make that investment and give it a name and pass it down from generation to generation. And Harold, obviously, when you make an investment in a diamond like that, you walk in a room, and when people see that on your finger, you may possibly wearing it on around your neck or on another form of jewelry, you literally are stopping the show because it is just so amazing, the color, one of the most spectacular colors we've ever seen on a diamond.
You better believe it. In actual fact, we've made men's rings out of orange diamonds before, and they are absolutely stunning also. But to have a vivid orange is just so ridiculously rare and so beautiful. And again, as beautiful as the video is, just wait till you see it in person. It'll literally take your breath away. It's that beautiful of a diamond. So again, and we've got equally as beautiful diamonds in pinks and some vivid yellows. And I'll tell you, vivid yellow diamonds are skyrocketing in price because there's none available. And again, anytime you buy the very best, you always get the most back for it. And that's what's happening in the rare diamond market right now.
And Harold has touched on in the past that it's getting to the point with some of these diamonds when they go to do the video, the colors are so stunning, so spectacular, that they have a hard time doing the video. because it's just spewing off that light and that colorful color that it has, and it's very difficult to video in some cases. And this is one of those diamonds I think definitely would have given them a little bit of trouble, because it is just so perfect. And when it sheds its light and you see it in your eyes, it's absolutely stunning. When you take a look at colored diamonds, the long-term track record, long-term appreciation, you're looking at 10 to 15% a year. It's a concentrated form of wealth. It's not just some piece of paper, not some crazy fantasy hedge fund or crazy high-frequency trading investment or something like that. It's better than cash, because it's real estate in your pocket. It stood the test of time for thousands of years. And unlike a stock certificate, a bond, or a T-bill, or anything else that's paper-related, this is something that you can display and be proud to own and hand down from generation to generation. The 5 compelling reasons to invest: privacy, portability, estate planning, price stability, and great long-term growth. And when you look at the long-term growth, we will be having some auctions coming up here in the next, and I believe April the 7th. There's an auction coming up, and we have auctions coming up in April and May. And Harold will get an idea at that time from Christie's and Sotheby's, the big auction houses, how colored diamonds are doing. And if they continue that trend from the fourth quarter of 2013 into the beginning of 2014, look out. We're going to have even more prices. Obviously, more diamonds break records, and prices continue to appreciate.
You bet. And again, they've been doing it for the last several years. When you look at what's happening at auction, colored diamonds are just selling for fortunes, and sometimes, 3, 4, 5 times what the estimates are. So very proud that we're in this market. It's the right market at the right time. In a world where things are so uncertain, it's nice to be able to put your money into something and be able to sleep at night, not worrying that you're going to wake up in the morning and find out that the market has totally fallen apart. That does not happen in the diamond market, especially in the rare diamond market, and that's exactly what we're bringing to our clients.
Featured Diamond of the Week from rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Go to the website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com right now. Featured Diamond of the Week is a 0.43 Princess Cut Fancy Vivid Orange Yellow Diamond. One of the most spectacular diamonds we have ever featured, and definitely call Harold Monday morning. First thing, if you are interested in this diamond, call him at 1-800-432-1022, 1-800-432-1022, and you can connect with him as well at rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. And, Harold touched on it earlier. We're in a world, obviously, where things are very topsy-turvy. We find out something we already knew. We passed it on to you in the past that the U.S. stock market is rigged, that according to Michael Lewis. And then you have geopolitical trouble. In fact, NATO coming out and warning Russia could seize the Ukraine in just 3 days. Harold has friends in Venezuela. They are lining up for food there. Venezuelans, in fact, issued ID cards to curtail food hoarding. People are battling for food. There are food shortages. The government is rolling out a new ID system to obviously combat that. But you can see a country like Venezuela, where it was supposed to be the socialist utopia, and all the problems that they're currently having. And Harold, you have millennials mired in a wealth gap as older Americans are gaining, and yet the millennials, they are basically, because of the financial crisis in 2008, no further ahead than they were when they started, which is obviously not good, because we all want to be improving our lot on a daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly basis. It's a crazy, crazy time in the financial markets, and that's why we advocate hard assets, and we have about a minute left here, Harold.
Well, I agree with you 100%, Randy. Hard assets have always proven over time to be the right investment at the right time. And again, I believe that that's exactly where we are right now. So I'm continuing to recommend and do exactly what we've been doing which is hold hard assets and stay out of the very risky paper asset market, especially the stock market. Who knows what's going to happen when they dig further into this high-frequency trading. Again, we'll certainly see what happens, but it's not good. There's no doubt that when we find out that they're scamming us, it's not a good situation. There's a lot of people up in arms about this, Randy.
Thank you very much, Harold Siegel.
It's my pleasure. I wish everybody a wonderful weekend and a very profitable day.
There are some people that believe that we could see a massive breakout in gold and silver as a result of this high-frequency trading situation, and we will have to wait and see. Start your own precious metals investment account. Speak with Worldwide Precious Metals, wwpmc.com, 1-866-623-2002. Speak with Harold about our featured diamond, that .43 Princess Cut Fancy Vivid Orange Yellow. Check it out at rarecoloreddiamonds.com and call 1-800-432-1022 for more information. That's it. Another edition of the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall. We will talk to you next week.